$100 million donation from billionaire Zionist Ken Griffin, the largest in their history. And this was after he threatened pro-Palestinian students, activists at Harvard, with revoking their jobs. And now we are in front of Ruel Cornell Medicine. Will Cornell, shame on you! Will Cornell, shame on you! You support genocide too! You support genocide too! Cornell, shame on you! Cornell, shame on you! You support genocide too! You support genocide too! Cornell Medicine is part of New York Presbyterian Hospitals, which represents the #1 hospital system in New York. And not only are they shutting their ears to, but also outright supporting one of the largest healthcare catastrophes in history. The Cornell administration has made it clear what side of the genocide they stand on. They refuse to even name Palestine. Hey, you on the mic. We're making this, please, we're exposing this university and we're exposing all medical institutions that are complicit in the genocide of the Palestinian people. They are anti-Palestinian and Islamophobic, using rhetoric shamelessly on public social media and academic platforms. Meanwhile, their employees are being harassed, suspended, terminated for supporting Palestinian liberation. This includes a Palestinian resident physician who, on the very day when she learned 10 of her family members were killed in Gaza, was cruelly snatched away from her patients in the middle of rounds and brutally interrogated for 2.5 hours. On the same day, when 10 of her family members were killed, once again, she was interrogated on whether she was a threat to Jewish patients. A physician assistant was immediately terminated with no opportunity to defend herself. A co-worker cropped a screenshot of her Instagram post of an Aqsa mosque and misrepresented her to HR. While Cornell has made it clear that they do not care for Palestinian or Muslim lives and grief. When the CEOs of New York Presbyterian were confronted directly about these actions at a recent town hall, they publicly belittled these traumatic experiences by saying that their supporters were misinformed and there's no culture of Islamophobia at Cornell. But we know that this could not be farther from the truth. They have been bought by years of Zionist money investing into our hospitals, while our hospitals bend to their knees for blood money. We will never forget their support of Palestinian bloodshed. Remember, all of these healthcare facilities have a responsibility and a duty to call for an end to the genocide and suffering in Gaza, because human life is precious everywhere. So I would like y'all to give it up to our speaker, Aboud, who will tell you firsthand about his own experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Peace be upon you. I want to thank every one of you for choosing to stand up against hate, to stand up for the weak, to stand up for justice in this symbolic day and place. I want to thank you for standing by the oath that we all take as healthcare workers and our infinite dedication to vulnerable patients. I am sharing a statement with you based on my lived experience as a healthcare worker with my entire family trapped in Gaza. We are all witnessing that the Israeli genocide waged on Gaza is breaking historical numbers in its wicked monstrosity. The weaponizing of starvation for 2.3 million civilians, the systemic destruction and ethnic cleansing of 90% of this population, and the unmistakable targeting of every healthcare, educational, and religious facility. It's a campaign that became so clear to have one clear goal, only one, to make Gaza unlivable. Many aspects of this genocide can be highlighted as infinitely cruel. Yet for us as healthcare workers, I want to emphasize one thing that continues to be beyond evil: the emphasis on painful death. And I underscore painful. An Israeli minister stated a few days ago that they have to find ways that are painful for Gazans beyond death. At the beginning of the genocide, I thought that the shortages of medications were a sequelae of the nature of the war waged by Israel. But when I saw and heard that thousands of patients are dying due to shortages of specific antibiotics, and that injured patients are having surgeries without anesthesia, I realized that this is targeted. Israel found a way of collective torture for 2.3 million people. Anesthetics are a class of medication that has a single purpose: to alleviate humanly unbearable pain. Israel has been insisting that anesthetics cannot enter Gaza, even with the infinitely small amount of aid that goes in. I want you to imagine with me the pain that my cousin went through, along with thousands of pregnant females who needed a C-section to deliver without anesthesia. I want you to imagine the scalpel tearing through layers of tissue. The scalpel tearing through layers of tissue, superficial and deep. The screams, the horror, and the trauma. I want you to think of 12-year-old Rima, a girl who had bilateral leg amputations after being bombed with her family, only to be killed a month later in an artillery shell that penetrated her hospital room. The weaponization of pain beyond the denial of basic care and the desecration of healthcare facilities can only be understood in light of the complete dehumanization of Palestinians. Nothing else conceivable can reason this level of collective brutality. This, my friends, is how Israel collectively punishes Palestinians. If death is inevitable, then they want to make it the most painful death ever. Could this be defended by any decent human being, let alone healthcare workers? No, it cannot. As healthcare workers, we aspire to treat our patients when we can. And if we can't, we try to comfort them, regardless of who they are and their backgrounds. Israel destroyed the Gazans' means to get either of these goals at the time of unprecedented, brutal genocide. Despite this, we have seen the heroic measures. We've seen the heroic measures that our fellow healthcare workers there went through to care for their patients. And I want just to end with this. As healthcare workers in a free country, it is our moral obligation to speak up against this brutality and torture and call it by its name. It is torture. We have to be the voice for our targeted, kidnapped, and tortured colleagues in Gaza. For the sake of our profession, for the sake of the oath that we take, and for the sake of our humanity. Raising our voices is the absolute minimum that we can do in the face of this evil. We demand ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
We demand ceasefire now. Deliver aid to Gaza and sue Israel for genocide!